The purpose of this second part is to just give a summary of what we have done and what we have learned, discussed in this class. So that's the main objective, and I will be brief in this case. From week one, if I start recapping our summaries, we started learning about what is transportation planning. So we try to get the whole sense of this very broad area, which has so many dimensions, as you guys probably have already realized. Like each of the lectures that I have offered can be one course. Like travel data collection, that could be one course. And in many places like that is public transit, that could be one course. Active transportation planning, that could be one course. ITS, that could be one course. And transportation planning, decision making, that could be one course. So in the first class, I tried to give a sense of like this breadth of transportation planning, and I also put some thoughts on those very structured way of decision making in transportation, like rational actor, satisficing method, or organizational approach of decision making, or political bargaining. So those are the decision making processes like that being used. We talked about actors who are involved in transportation, and you guys probably have already recognized like so many actors that we have, from decision making, from provincial, federal, municipal, from non-profit organizations, citizens. So many roles like that we can see is like available and usually involved in decision making in transportation. And there are some emerging ones which in this second half I want to start indicating, which we didn't talk much. But right now environmentalists are becoming active, like environmental sciences, pollution, energy. People are getting involved in transportation planning or decision making. Health is becoming one big piece. Because so far we have never considered in transportation planning like the health impact, like mostly ignored, like physical activity is related with transportation. Like how we make or build our transportation system has a very direct impact or influence on those kind of things. And we just recently have done one study, like we found approximately on average everybody travels on a given day in Nova Scotia 80 minutes. Right? So 80 minutes, is it 80 minutes? 180 minutes, I believe. Something like that, on average. Najneen did the study. 140 or 180 minutes. So it's a significant amount of time. Just travel, like using all types of mode. So we can improvise on that, whether we choose that for all utilizing car for that 180 minutes, or it should be something else like walking, biking. So health impact is a big one. Public, and in Canada we have this public health care system, so it's much more important than ever. So so there are many actors evolving, like the computer science is another one from today's lecture. Probably you start realizing like computer science and computer scientists have a lot more role than what they have played so far in transportation system planning. So we need to, as a transportation planner, have to develop our vocabularies to contact, communicate with them, and let them know what we need for making transportation planning decisions. And in TRB and in most research conferences right now, we are focusing on these two non-traditional partners. One is health professional, second is computer science, electrical engineers, like what they can offer to transportation system. Electrical is coming in another way. If we are moving towards, and I'm talking about our future, more electric car, there will be an issue with power grid that we have, how we will be charging our electric car en masse. Like when we have a mass production, mass use, like we are not ready for it. So I know in Europe, Imperial College, London. They are doing a huge kind of like this kind of study, stakeholder consultation, as well as developing some sort of those kind of ideas what we can can do when we start seeing some huge or like big in a big way we start utilizing electric cars or other kinds of things. And you guys need to start even now, not wait for the future. We are having this discussion at Dow right now, like where should be our recharging station if we are offering this free or reduced price parking passes for electric car. We have one or two. So we are like now thinking about like how we can manage it, and it's becoming so complicated because if 2% or 3% have electric cars, how long will you be allowing each to charge from that particular location, and what is the cost scenario? Like those kind of things. We have to start thinking about how we'll be designing our garages. Like if we are heading to those kind of directions. So what I am saying is there are a lot more actors than what we thought, and you guys have that responsibility to start thinking about it and for the future as well. So there are those kind of other areas. Then we started talking about the next week is more transportation data collection, and I tried to give you a sense of both traffic-related data, which is a supply-oriented approach, as well as travel surveys, like which is more origin-destination survey. So we talked about like we need both kind of things, and you guys have already probably seen like the use of those data in other different classes, like where we need, for example, for level of service calculation, we need traffic volume data. For other kinds of like your BRT, you need travel surveys, right? OD and other kinds of things. So, or the 4-stage model, we need those kind of things. Or performance evaluation for transit, we need ridership data. So I tried to give you a sense of what are the commonly utilized data, commonly like we need to collect like the kind of those kind of data. In week 3 we started talking about multimodal transportation system, mainly emphasizing on transit, BRT, bus rapid transit, and also showing 2 videos to give a better sense of best practice in walking and cycling. And I would strongly recommend you to download and keep that active transportation design guideline by Department of Transportation UK, the document that I uploaded. That should be your handbook for any kind of discussion about the design of active transportation routes and other kinds of things. We haven't discussed elaborately in the class because we don't have tons of time in one single class, but I think that should be a one reference document. For BRT, I have elaborately discussed those kind of things. We have also focused on transportation performance class on the vehicular traffic design, level of service concepts, and how to calculate those. We have done that. And note that I tried very carefully in this class to satisfy different types of learners because we have different students from different disciplines. So some lectures, some assignments were more geared towards like more qualitative learning. Some are more quantitative learning. I tried to bring everybody in some middle ground where you need to have enough kind of understanding of these things so that you can talk with each other on those kind of issues. Your presentation was great. Like we have transportation solution to address different kind of transportation problems. We have a variety of project discussed and presented, starting from big like transportation. More like the road transportation. We have transit fare collection. We have land use kind of presentation. So it was quite well done. We talked a lot in starting from week 6. We talked about level of service, which is a very important concept, particularly for traffic engineers, those who are utilizing that. For evaluating performance of road spaces, particularly car traffic. But we also alluded to this idea of transit service evaluation. That is becoming more and more important. So we need to really think in the same way of thinking how we can define measured level of service for transit, or even level of service for active transportation. So that's important. Those who are planners, probably you should start thinking about what will be our level of service for active transportation. Like, we don't have yet like those kind of things established, but this is like the one that I discussed elaborately, the level of service for highways, or those kind of ideas. So that should be the base. We should not reinvent our wheel, otherwise it will be very problematic when you are communicating with the people who are already serving in those traffic engineering group and other kind of things. But if we start like having the similar kind of discussion, I think that will be a more better way, effective way. We are not building anything from scratch. Okay, we don't need level of service. We will like observe and tell this is a good or bad system. This is not probably a good idea. The idea should be, okay, this is how people are evaluating for years. Like, these are proven trial and error methods. For years they are doing that for road traffic. What we can do in the same line for transit, what we can do in the same line for other types of modes if we are interested about sustainable transportation as well. The four-step model is another, like a big piece people utilize for regional planning. We talked very elaborately trip generation, trip distribution, mode choice, and traffic assignments. We talked about each of the methods of each stages, like regression, trip table for trip generation, trip distribution, gravity model, mode choice. We talked about logic modeling. We talked about traffic assignment. All or nothing versus a capacity constraint. But most important piece probably for you guys also is like how we utilize those model results for project evaluation. Like, what is the purpose of modeling? Modeling is not just for modeling's sake. It is for use for making better decision. I probably told that model is another voice on the table. That's how I see it. So this is another voice. So you need to understand, okay, what will be our criteria? Are we reducing the average travel time for all users? Like, that is our information. Are we reducing greenhouse gases with these kind of things? That is how we should be utilizing that. So four-stage model, I mainly talk in terms of regional planning application, and I showed the any application too. But it can also be used for smaller scale uses, like, for example, any development agreement, like what will be the traffic impact study. So you can use like the spreadsheet or other kinds of like same principles that we talk to generate those numbers. I really sometimes get bothered with whenever I see any traffic impact study, like there is always minimum impact. Is it? As a planner, let's start asking those questions. How come every impact, every new development, everywhere have a minimum impact? So as a planner, probably what you should be doing is more digging deeper to the principles. The more you can mimic the realistic world to this kind of modeling system or this kind of calculation. Like, need not to be always like any tree, like the big piece. You can do your own. Okay, how we are generating, does it make sense? Can you validate? Can we start asking questions? That's my main objective. That was my main objective of these courses. Can you start asking questions to learn more, as well as to challenge when you are in the field as an engineer or planner? And then we talked about ITS today, like showing that what we can use and what is the like kind of a more emerging kind of a field in transportation planning. So that's what we did in terms of the assignment. You have these essay, kind of a position paper, like on transit impact on anything. It was well done in various ways. So this was like, generally you will get this kind of assignment if you are being interviewed for government agencies. You need to probably write an opinion piece about something, so I tried to put it there in that way. Problem set was more geared to like understanding how to calculate level of service, and the exams was like mixed, like whether you are following like all the inputs like I have given to produce these kind of slides and discussion. So that was, and also like have some capability of like doing some calculation. That was, and the presentation was like also like, and you also do some best practice review, because often like when we have resource constraint, we sometimes do not really have enough time to do those kind of empirical data collection and do all the ideal rational actor way of decision making. But can we also learn from other jurisdictions? That's the main idea. So I tried to that, and I'm very much excited for your next project, team project, which is a kind of an independent project. Can we really systematically come up with a BRT corridor or BRT line that you feel probably best serve Caledonians, given these limited resource, time-wise as well as data-wise? I think that will be a good exercise. I already contacted Metro Transit. If you guys are doing well, I might be simply forwarding your paper to them. I'm very excited to look at those presentations, and it was always good. And now there is one class put as a recent progress in transportation research. I think this is like what I was mainly trying to like allude, like these are the areas people are doing. Transportation research is ever evolving and it never ends, because we have so many dimensions. I haven't even talked in this class freight transportation, goods movement. Like that's a huge area. But the basic principle, that's the good thing. Basic principle is what we discussed in this class. The fundamentals of saying you have to have a transportation planning process in place. You have to have a evaluation of alternatives, some ideas how to do that. You have to have some sort of monitoring capability for data collection, capturing, and evaluation, and making some idea about what's the behavior of the traffic flow or the people. We talk both, like the infrastructure as well as the people. So that's the main idea. Like these are quite good. So we'll be talking a little bit more on the team project, like if you have any question. But overall goal of the course was, from the course outline, if you see that, fundamental concept of planning, travel behavior, multimodal transportation, four-stage model, and ITS. And I was expecting at the end, you should have a basic understanding of systems, planning process, methods, and some application. And we tried in various ways, and I would like to welcome you to this transportation planning world. This is probably beginning of what you are thinking. Even if you are not working as a transportation planner, I know there are a couple of industrial engineering people here. This is systems planning. To be honest, that what we talked here, this is a systems planning approach, and this can be transferable to your project management or production planning. Like if you are in industrial engineering, if you are thinking about a land use planner, it's a planning process we talked about. The same thing can be done for the land use planning. If you are a civil engineer, you can do these kind of things for construction management. You can do the same type of thing, monitoring this kind of idea. You can utilize in various ways. But what I want from this class, probably in the future, when you are in a position where you could exercise your planning knowledge, please make sure you are rational actors. Make sure you are planning, talking, observing as a more evidence-based planning, like more asking for the data. We understand resource limitation, but asking for the data, asking for the patterns, and retrieving information to make informed decision making. That's the new era that's coming is informed decision making. We have talked about it for probably 60 years, but we are not there yet. So what I want is, as a future planner and engineer, you make sure wherever you are going, whether as a professional capacity or as an advocacy capacity, make sure you are translating what you have learned in our discussion. And I wish I have multiple other classes like this as well, and we might have, like in the future, our PhD students are coming fast, and maybe they will start designing new courses or something. I don't know, but that's the beginning of it. I think make sure you utilize your these kind of discussion. And I haven't focused in this class only engineering lessons or focused only on transportation planning, like in a planning very like a collective kind of a thought process as well. I try to mix it so that like you really see where planning can thrive, or engineering, traffic engineering, which is planning by all means. So that's so far the end of it. And of course, welcome to the transportation planning world. Any questions? Any questions on the summary? No? So in that case, probably I'm available for any discussion if you have. I know this is an extra class and you might have other commitments, but I'm available if you have questions on your project. Make sure you guys at least scan 5 years Metro Transit Plan. That is a good resource to take a lot of existing ideas and then build up on that. There is nothing in planning we should start from scratch. That's what always we try to do, and it's not a fruitful idea. Okay, so I'm available now for talking about a project or any confusion, any redirection if you need. Okay.